Oh my gosh, what a week. Here we go. Let's get started. We are going to be doing some Clapton today. And so if you are a member, well, go grab a membership if you don't have one yet. And come join us. Sheet music's on the Jolly Roger website. https://jollyrogerukulele.com. We meet, well, we typically, oh no, there's a new WordPress update. Don't even tell me about that. That's usually a nightmare. Okay, so I've missed all of the classes, almost all the classes this week. I think I've missed all of the classes this week. Well, we had orchestra on Monday, so I guess I didn't miss every class. Let me put this on the website. And if you are finding this video and you're not a regular attendee, the Tuesdays and Thursday classes don't require membership. The Monday and Fridays do. And membership's cheap, so go check it out. And then what else are we doing? I don't remember. Let's see. It's just been a week. Let's see. All right, so I've got it posted on the website. Let me make sure it's working. The website's running super slow. Why would that be? There it goes. Okay, click. All right. Oh, I didn't have it open in a new window. All right, so let me go fix that, and then we'll get started here in just a minute. I am broadcasting from my house because I'm waiting on the contractor again to get here so that they can start work on some drywall replacement stuff. The whole story. I'll tell you about it in a minute. After I get everything posted, and I'll tell you about what a tragic week I've been having. All right. And I'll tell you, if this is the kind of tragedy I'm having, I'll take this kind of a week any day. Life is just fine. All right, so now there's this. This does no longer log me in automatically, which makes me mental. So log in, for goodness sakes. Also, my harmonica friend in Japan has started doing her live broadcast at 6 a.m. in the morning, and I can't get up on that early. So I missed her broadcast today. JollyRogerUkulele.com. Patience. And I'm very sad about that. And it's pulling up the Denver Guitar Orchestra site. Let me go change that real quick. Google desktop, ukulele, Friday dance party, open, tweet. And I should have made a Clapton graphic. I'm running out of time, guys. That's the problem. Okay, then I need to go back to this live stream. Close this here. Let's click edit here. I don't want anybody to freak out that they're joining a guitar group. They're not. And desktop, ukulele, JRU cassette. I need to just make a Friday dance party thing. All right, so here we are. Let's see. We must have done Clapton since maybe right when I got this iPad, because all of the sheet music was already in here. I came in to get it all set up in my gadget here, and it was all already here. So it must not have been that long ago that we did it. I don't remember. You guys would let me. You guys probably would know more than I would. Let's see. Okay, so I can close that. That looks good. There we go. And here we are. Okay, that's it. So here's the rundown. One, somebody ran into the front of our building. It is impossible to run into the front of our building. It's not even possible to do it. Somebody managed to get it done. We have located her. We do have her insurance. It's all going to work itself out. Nothing structural happened to the building as far as we can tell. And but it's just, hours and hours and hours and hours of time dealing with that. Then they're putting in new cameras into our building because we live in a downtown area, and like every building in a downtown area, everywhere particular in the United States, we've seen an uptick in shenanigans. And so our cameras that were from, I don't know, they were old. Honestly, they were terrible. We are upgrading them to high definition cameras, which means I can see your nose hairs when you walk in the building. So that is all going on this week, which I'm having to sort of be a part of. And then we're remodeling the house. That's why I'm broadcasting from my bedroom. This is a nightmare. The cabinet delivery was this week, of course, right? So it's 0 degrees outside, and then they're supposed to bring the cabinets, and of course it gets all messed up, as always in construction, right? We know how construction works. It's fine. Then yesterday they were putting them in, which is exciting, but one thing, the things, and so now they have to delay putting in the uppers because they got to come in and do some other work. So anyway, now, that's taken and going to take 3 days longer than it was supposed to, and then in the midst of all this, the general contractor's car breaks. So my schedule, I've missed 2 days of school now in a row, which makes you mental as a student, and then I missed 2 ukulele classes and 3 harmonica classes, I think. So, guys, I really apologize. It's been a week. It's going to be better next week. And there's that. Also, Donna's out of town. That should tell you exactly where the real problem is. It's Donna's fault. I have tried to locate Henry, and I cannot find him. And so, somewhere in this room he is, and he will be no doubt making an impromptu appearance at the worst possible time. And I will then put him into the bathroom, which is right. I can't make my hands go the right direction, which is right there. So that I've got it all set up. He's got his little bed in there. I will go throw him in there, and when he comes. Also, the contractor will be coming at any moment, and I will probably have to let them in. So they let them in. The front door of the building is here, and then I'll probably have to go let them in. So who knows how much we'll get done today. But anyway, that's the whole story. All right. Now you know way too much more than you needed to know. You don't care about any of this. Good morning, Diane. Nice to get together finally, right? Pauline. Clapton, Sunny here. Yeah, we like playing Clapton. I will mention, just because there's an elephant in the room. Eric Clapton is an idiot. I don't think there's any other way to put it. He has the stuff that comes out of his mouth and the stuff that he's done over the years is just shocking. But he wrote 3 good songs, and we're going to play those 3 good songs. And so let's leave it at that, right? I think it's fine. I don't know. This is me. I think it's fine that when somebody creates a work of art, we can appreciate the work of art. We don't have to appreciate the person. And so we will... leave it at that. How about there? Good morning, Lynn. Yes, Henry will no doubt photobomb the session. I tried to get him in the bathroom earlier, and he figured out what I was up to. So I think he's under the bed is where I think he is. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Sandy. Vet Gazer today, as always. Linda can only stay for a bit. Okay, Linda, I've been missing you. Good to see you. And hey, Gary, good to see you. Hope Ree is with you. All right, so let's talk about, I have on my, well, I guess we should do them alphabetical. By the way, we will have these for 2 weeks, right, guys? So you're comfy with that system at this point. That this is the week we sort of dig into and make sure we know what we're supposed to do. And then next week is the week when we get serious about it. So when we actually play. So first of all, my little gadget is not letting me get to the Layla that I need. So grab Layla on ukulele, and let's do that one first. Of course, the baritone one comes up first. Hold on. Oh, I deleted the wrong thing, of course. Hold on. Add. Where's the L's? L. Layla ukulele. Okay, done. Layla. All right. And remove. Okay. So, on Layla, as you look through it, you're like, oh, this thing's going to be cake, right? The tablature is not complicated. Let me twist the right one. I replaced the strings on this, so we'll see what happens. let's make sure you're about the same as me. This is my G, this is my C, and this is my E, this is my A. All right, so let's just talk about the intro real quick. The big thing with this is just making sure that you have your eighth notes, quarter notes, and half notes cleaned up correctly, and you'll get the thing. So first of all, you're putting on a G minor to get started. But notice the first measure you're playing a 1. You're playing this F note here in measure 0. Okay, so it turns out it doesn't look hard, but it is kind of hard. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, and so I'm probably thinking, okay, and just making sure that these 2 3s up here are a little complicated to get to. So probably you can do it with plucking. Sounds a little thin to me, so probably with my thumb, F chord, G minor, repeats, so it just repeats over and over. That basic idea is and so the big thing I think is 2 things you want to pay attention to. Number 1, your G minor chord. Okay, that's a really nice chord on ukulele. I love that. For those of you on baritone, that's a D minor. Really a beautiful sound on our instrument. And then the other thing that comes up is E flat. Now those of you in the orchestra, you'll know we talked about this E flat, a bar on 3, pinky on 6. Okay, that's also an E flat, and that's the one I show you on here. That's your bar chord, but there's also one that we normally do with open 3 3 1. Okay, that's the other E flat that we use, but it's not unimportant that you can also put your middle ring and pinky there and get an E flat, because what you're doing is replacing the bar, right? Now I don't arrange with this one quite a bit, more so on guitar because you have a little bit more room to operate, but on ukulele I don't put this one on unless I really have to. In this case, it feels like you're sort of doing that, sort of halfway this and halfway this, and so it just takes a few minutes to get that intro. So let's do just the intro again one more time. I can feel this thing going out of tune as I'm... Okay, so from the top, just the intro. 1, 2, 3. And notice there's 2 separate rhythms there, right? The first rhythm is ends the phrasing at the E flat ends in a half note in the middle of measure 1. The second time in the middle of measure 3, there's 2 eighth notes that fall, so it's a quarter note followed by 2 eighth notes. So you got to move a little more quickly. All right, next let's talk about the main version here. And I'm gonna pull up. I gotta pull up you guys, or I won't know what's going on. I won't know if you're making fun of me. Let's see. Hey, Robin, welcome in. And by the way, guys, I am sorry for the late notice. I put it on the website, but unless I tell you it's on the website. So thank you all for being here. All right, next is, by the way, on Fridays we will be doing this at 9 a.m. Okay, because I got a thing that I have to do on Friday afternoons. Now, the next thing is, look at this lovely bar chord, right? And the key here is going to be pinky on 8, okay? So you've got this strum, that's your D minor 7, and then, what will you do and then you got to move when you get lonely. Bum bum bum. Right, and that's how kind of how his band does it. Lonely. Okay, so A7 3 A7. Okay, then do the whole thing at measure 11. Do something similar. F7. Notice your G minor and F7 are friends, right? They're exactly the same shape, just on different strings. This is, I love this. You got a 5, 6, 7 here, right? I love this G minor a lot. Got a regular C chord. Go to page 2. Okay, you've got your. It looks like, when I look at that and I see 203, I'm thinking middle and ring usually, but you're also going to be just fine with index and middle, whichever one works for you. Okay, there's sort of a B flat there. Back up to this G minor on 5. Nice full B flat. Okay, and if you use a full bar, you're always better off. But in this case, not so much. It's not going to matter which B flat you use. Okay, if your B flat sounds like this, you're in good company. I played that way for many years. Okay, that's how my B flat sounded forever. Okay, now measure 17. Okay, now we get to the main idea, right? So it's Layla, you've got repetitive. And then you got this G minor you got to get to real quick. Okay, and then we're going to repeat. One of the things to think about at measure 22, if you're on this F, you're on this F, and you've got to get up to this G minor. You can use your pinky up here instead of sliding back down to the 3 and 1. So let me go through it very slowly. So you're on F. 1. You know you've got this 5, so I would just slide up. 3, 5. Now you can slide back to 3, 1, 0, or if you're like I don't like that sound. I don't like that moving around so much. You can use your pinky at 8, pick your pinky up at 6, and then hit the O, and then come down. I don't usually do that. I guess I do it about half and half, right? So I arranged it in the open position, which works fine because then it goes 3, 1, 0, and then you're down here for your next chord. But a lot of people will go ahead and refinger that as 8, 6 on the second string. And again, I don't think there's a right answer there. I think it's whatever makes you happy. So let's play 22 into the repeat, and then let's figure out where we go after that. Okay? So from 22, ready, play. Regular E flat. Okay, now your repeat is going to send you back to measure 9 3 times, right? So, twice. So we're going to play that section 3 times. Again, because Eric Clapton is pop, right? We're going to repeat a lot of stuff, and it just goes over and over again. There's nothing wrong with that. That's why we like pop songs, because they drive these thoughts into your noggin, and then you're stuck with them. But just know that once you get the lick down, you have the whole song down. And so I would say with this song, work on the beginning, work on separately from the rest of it. And then, so let's play back down through the main idea here one more time together, and then let's look at the ending, and then let's move on. Okay, so we've got from measure 9, 1, 2, 3, 4. G minor. key again, right? So that it works, makes sense. It sounds kind of like the song. I'm playing it poorly, but you got the idea. Then let's look at the ending. The ending is pretty straightforward, right? But look at the nice chords you get to know. Okay, so you already know your F chord on the ending, major 24. D chord. Oh, that sounds happy. And then look at this cool one down here. Okay, you could do it with the little bar. Or you could just take your D and move it over here. E minor. And then G minor. Oh, what a sad ending, right? Yeah, so there's that. Let's pull up, just real quick, let's pull up baritone, just so that, so in other words, work on that this week. All right, let's pull up the baritone one real quick so we can talk about chords on ukulele. Those of you guys that have just ukulele, you need to think of your chords through. With the baritone players, it should be identical. This is a 2021 version, so I had started writing, trying to get all of the baritone sheets to be exactly the same as the ukulele sheets. But let's talk about chords. Well, so first of all, if you have a baritone, it's going to sound a little bit more like Eric Clapton, right? That sounds more like the song we're used to, right? Not that I'm trying to sell baritones, right? But sometimes when you're playing guitars and you have a baritone, it's going to sound a little bit more like what you want. But on ukulele, you got to run through these chords real quick, okay? So on ukulele, what's D minor? That's your F chord with your add your 3, right? That's your D minor. Your B flat is one of your favorites on ukulele. Your C chord is here. Right, so far so good. We know all of those. What else? So that's the whole intro. A minor 7th is just an open strum. Okay, so so when you get to A minor 7, yay, sweet. E7, that's our Tin Pan Alley 7. Okay, index up here, middle and ring. So you probably know that one at this point. C7, there's your C7, right? C and C7. You know your G chord, I hope. C chord, F chord, maybe all of them. Okay, that's all of them clear down till the end, right? And so you've got a C chord, your C chord, your A chord looks like your F chord, only the fingers ain't different. Okay, A chord's there. Baritone players, I do see a mistake on here. Measure 25. Your G minor is here. It's on the 3rd fret, not the 1st fret. So you might make yourself a note about that. And then for ukulele players, that's your G minor we were playing already anyway. Okay. Then B flat and D minor. Okay. So the chords are doable for sure on ukulele. So we should end up with a real nice duet when we play this song next week. So there's Layla. And it's something that I one of my private students just loves Eric Clapton, and so all 3 of these come from him, and honestly, I know just enough about Clapton to know that that's the only thing that you want to know about Clapton. Everything else about Clapton is terrible. All right, so Layla, you ready to go on that one? Spend some time on that one this week. Next Friday morning, 9 a.m., we will just play. Okay, so now let's run down to, what's the next one on our list? Tears in Heaven. All right, now this is obviously this is his big one, and it's really, I think, despite the fact that he wrote it, it's a great song, but it's a little bit more work. So let's grab ukuleles. Most of you have ukuleles, and so let's grab those and run through this in a little more detail. It's long. It's 3 pages long, and there's repeats in here, right? I think you could do worse in terms of songs to pick than this one. All right, Look at the beginning. You can see right off the bat. Hopefully at this point your eyes are just dropping this in really clearly. You're like, oh, that's an arpeggio. No question about it, right? And you look the reason you know that is you see chords and you see patterns. And so almost certainly when you see arpeggio, you're thinking claw. Okay. Can you do it with your thumb? Yeah. Will it go well? Probably not. Okay. Grab your G chord and baritones, by the way, these are lovely chords for you as well. So let's talk about just doing this arpeggio. When you see eighth notes, couple of quarter notes, bunch of eighth notes, right? And then you have 1/16th note way down at measure 4 that's going to be a problem. Okay, so don't go too fast in order to get the 16th note in correctly. So let's go. Let's just play it together, see how much you can just grab. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's talk about that. That intro is iconic. Like you hear that and you're like, oh, that's that song. And that's the cool part about the really big songs in rock and roll is that you need about the first 4 notes and you're like, oh, that song, I love that song. And Robin says, this is such a good song. This is such a good song. Now, let's slow it down just a little bit and see where the challenges come. So the first thing, you got your G chord, not challenging, hopefully. A little bit of a challenge here with this bar chord. Okay, let that ring for a second before you hit the second 5. Those are quarter notes. And then get your E minor on, a little bit of a challenge. Now I have 2s there, and I think that's wrong. Those 2 2s, I'm going to change those to 4s. I don't even know. I was probably thinking G chord there. I think it's going to just be fine to use the 4s out of the E minor. So I would change those to 4s. In fact, I will do that this week. It sounds fine with the E minor with 4s. Bum, bum. And then go back to your G chord in the middle of measure 2. And then grab your 003. And then this, I don't know the best way to get to this. This will depend on you. You could put a bar on here and then just grab the 3s. Right? I think probably that's the way to do it. So put a little bar on there, put your 3 on there. Lift up your middle finger and put it back. And then the G chord. And now here's the hard part. If you're going too fast, you won't be able to pull this off. 203, bum bum bum. So let me try and do it in good timing from the top. Ready, play. No, let me start again. Ready, play. That's what you want. Bum, bum, bum. Because that's a great transition into the main idea here, right? So, bum, 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 bum. Okay, so don't do the first part any faster than you can do those last 3 notes. Bum, bum, bum. Because most of the time when I teach this song to somebody privately, they turn that into 8th notes as well. Bum, bum, bum. And that's it doesn't have the same oomph to it, right? All right, now let's go to measure 5. And the repeats on here are a little bit intense, so work with me on this a little bit. Let's just, so it looks to me as I'm glancing through it's like, oh well, this is just more of the same. So let's see how we do from the top. Measure 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. we have a B chord. Oh, it looks exactly like an E minor. Okay, let's talk about B for just a second. Okay, remember how when I taught you B flat and you're like, yay, that's my new favorite chord. Okay, B is just up one. Okay, that's that. And just so you know, it's really a sucky chord on baritone. So be happy. On baritone, you almost have to do a bar chord, right? But here's the other cool thing about B is you normally put a bar here and do the A shape in front, right? There's a B chord. Okay, and Clapton uses a lot of B chords because he writes in E a lot, and so you'll see those come up. E, F, G, A, B, 1 and 5, right? So not surprising that shows up there. Sometimes it's surprising to me who gets famous. But B chord looks super bum like this, but on this arrangement you only have to do your E minor shape, take your E minor shape, and then just move everybody up one on a one higher string. Okay, if you leave it open, it makes a cool B something, B suspended fourth, I think. There's your B, here's your this, and then just don't play the top string. And here's what's kind of cool: you can make songs out of this. I have one called Cocaine Bill and Morphine Sue. Cocaine Bill and Morphine Sue were skipping down Fifth Avenue. So they're a really nice pair. E minor and then this suspended, this sort of a B chord. Okay, so that's what's going on here. And then I think I have the arpeggio wrong on this. I put 2-3-2. I think you should probably do, well, let me see. I must be strong. I think 2-3-2 is fine. I don't. I would probably do 3-2-3, but you could do strong. You can do it's written. It's fine. It's just filling up space. I will probably end up changing it to be 3-2-3 rather than 2-3-2, just because that keeps it consistent. All right, moving on to page 2, measure 15. Let's see if we can just play for a little bit. Notice you've got an E chord showing up at measure 16. That's going to be 2 4s up here, and then the second string open. Okay. And to be honest, guys, ukulele, it's one failing. There's one failing that I think the ukulele has, and it's E chord. And probably you don't even need to hit that high 0. Just these bottom 2 4s will probably be satisfactory, because that's the melody note and the 4 are the same note, right? And it feels a little too E-ish when you play it the way it's written. But try it both ways. So from 15, 1, 2, 3, 4. And carry on, 'cause I know. Chord eighth notes. I was going too fast to pull that off. So you can see the intro repeats right there. So that's why you want to work on it. Now, when you hit the end of 22, you're going to go back up to 5. Okay, so 0 to 22, and then you come back to 5. Okay, now once you get to 5, you're going to play all the way down through. Let's go look at what I think is the hard part of the song. It doesn't show it on this paper, but it actually, in when he sings it, I think he goes into a completely different key, and so just be aware that that's coming up. So you come back through, you play that little riff again, which is cool. So once you learn the riff, then you've got it. It fills up a lot of space in the song. At measure 23, please. I think, if you've been plucking the whole way through, which sounds cool, and something that Clapton is known for is a lot of fingerstyle play, then how about switch to your thumb here, right? And just to give a different feeling to it, which he does in the way he sings it as well. So let's try thumbs here, okay? And you see you've got 7 followed by the legendary G chord with your pinky on 5. That's going to come up a million times, right? G. If you can do a real G chord with your pinky up here, it's better, okay? But if you can't, do this one. Okay, and let's try thumbs and just see what it feels like. 1, 2, 3, 4. A little bit of that riff. Page 3. Okay, so let's talk just very briefly about what's happening there, which is super cool. At 29, you're in your G chord, and then he puts in a D chord here, which doesn't really go. It sounds different, and pulls you up into the E chord. Bar on 4, pinky on 7. It's just your C chord. Slide up to 4. Okay. Whoop. Okay. Now, this is the good E chord, right? This is what I'm fine with. It's the one that's down lower that kind of stinks. And then, just a little bit of just filling up space with those 4s. If you have a low G ukulele, this one might be a place where that sounds kind of cool. But as you know, I always play high G because I think low G is for losers. No, I don't. I think that low G has its place, but not in what I do. And then at measure 31, we return to the riff, right? And again, I think it says 2-3-2, but I think 4-3-4 is fine there. So I'm going to make some changes to that. I think it sounds fine, just holding the chord. Repeat the riff, okay, and then when you get to the end of 35, you're going to go all the way back to measure 5. Now notice there's a little coda there, right? And so it should probably say DSL coda, Diseño al coda, yeah. So when you get to, I wrote on there, go to measure 5, okay? And you're going to be looking for a coda the next time around, okay? So we're going to go back to measure 5. We play all the way back down through it, all the way, blah, 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 blah. And then when you get to 18, that's where it says third time through, go to measure 35. So you play down to there, and then at measure 18, you're going to jump all the way to 35. So let's go to 35. There are a couple of variations at 35 that are going to give you a little bit of a ugh, right? So go to 35, grab your G chord. It looks like we're going to do the riff again, but it's going to be a little bit different. So here we go from 35. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so there's a quarter note there, right? That's the first thing that jumps out at me is like, oh, wait a minute. I'm going to quarter note, and then now, because I know, right? And then we got that thing similar to what we did in the middle of the song. And then we do repeat the beginning. Go. This one gets me every time. And then hang out on that 3 for a second. There needs to be a fermat over that. Okay, and then finish up with your G chord. So my suggestions on this one are: number 1, grab the chord. Most of the melody is going to be sitting right underneath the chord. There's no, you don't. That's one of, I think, sort of the. And it's not that long ago when people were finally figuring out they could do this on guitar, and it seems like that should have been something that was done from the beginning of time, because it totally works. Classical guitar players knew this, but in popular music they didn't really do this as much, and because they had electronics and you just put on a fuzz pedal and everything works. thing I also think about this is try not to play it at the speed you've heard it on the radio. Try to play it at about half that speed. This song works at an incredibly slow pace, and that will give you time to think through what's going on in each measure. If you are a singer, this is a really delightful one to sing as well. So just grab the chords and sing it. I mean, really, all these chords are quite doable. All right, and then we won't go through the baritone one with that detail. It's identical in every way. I'm sure I just copy pasted. I will read through it tonight to make sure that there's no tablature or goofs. I am going to make a couple of changes. I'll post a revised version this week, but what's here is fine, right? What's here absolutely works. There's just a few places where I can change a couple of things and make it a little bit better, a little bit easier to play. But just play through it. If you're holding the chord and you're just making some arpeggio patterns, just do that. It's consistent throughout. That this is and I also think if you put your mind to this is a song worth having, right? He's not a composer we want to have anymore. He's sort of in the same group as Stephen Foster, right? Like, Stephen Foster was not a good guy, but he wrote some really nice tunes. So we study his tunes when we acknowledge the fact that he was an idiot. I think the same thing with Clapton. And so I think you've got a really nice tune here. And you know, it's probably on the list of greatest rock songs of all time type thing. And so there you go. You always want to have something that's the greatest of all time. All right, and then these other famous songs, let's swing by Wonderful Tonight. We're doing pretty good on time. We're taking about 20 minutes per song to go through them. Your goal, of course, this week is to play them, and so that when we get to Friday, that it's going to go nice and smooth for you. And I hope this isn't my contractor. I don't think it is. It is not. On Wonderful Tonight, this is, here again, Clapton, right? The song itself is really nice sounding. The words could not possibly be any dumber, and I mean, honest to God, and this is something, those of you who grew up with Clapton, you're like, what do you mean the words are dumb? They're awesome. Go through and read them with a 2022 brain on, and you'll be like, what the heck, man? I can't believe I like this song. But the melody's awesome. LG, good to see you. Have a great weekend. Sorry, I've been missing you. So good to see you today. I'll take you when I get. Hey, Darwin. All right, so again, don't spend it. I wouldn't sing this song anymore. This song is stupid, but the melody and the tune are awesome. So let's take a look at that. All right. My contractor says it'll be here at 10. Look at that. We're going to get this in. If Henry doesn't come out from under the bed, we'll have done a good thing here. All right. So Wonderful Tonight. Let's do the intro. Most rock songs have some goofy intro. A lot of times it's a riff you're supposed to memorize, right? So let's just take a look and see what we got here. 1, 2. Flat. Okay, and that sounds exactly like the beginning should sound. And nice and slow, don't rush. Okay, let's do it together one more time. 1, 2. To get you into the next song piece, and then the melody here is what's going to carry you into the next measure. Let's talk about B flats. Hopefully these are not continuing to be a nightmare for you, right? It's a bar. It's your A chord with a bar. That's it. That's all the B chord is. You are working. If you are fighting it, it's because your bar isn't cooperating with you. Okay, because there's nothing to this, right? It's the bar that's causing you angst. And if you are fighting bar chords, go grab the bar chord worksheet. is going to make your bar better, and then all of a sudden B flat's not a problem. But you do need to get your bar in good shape, and I will tell you there's two things about the bar. Number one is that a lot of us, especially if we're getting older, our knuckles are growing, right? Our fingers are getting all wanky because of life gets you down. So sometimes you got to push it up a little higher, sometimes you got to pull it down a little bit, sometimes you got to roll it forward, sometimes you got to roll it back. And it may depend on the type of bar chord you're doing where that ends up, but all of those are useful tools. Also, you're thinking about the fact that your thumb is behind your middle finger, right? So it should be in front of your bar, right? That's the best place for it. That's going to minimize the amount of muscle and tension that you have to use. Okay, and please don't be using your middle finger for a bar. I have had lots of students do that. Okay, don't do that. And when you see a B flat, I think the biggest thing is just to have confidence in yourself. Okay, my B flat sounds like this right now. Okay. Okay, so just let it be that, but don't let bar chords ruin your life. Work on your bars, and then they'll stop ruining your life. Okay, so measure 10. There's that nice B flat, and then you got 1010. Okay, now this is kind of interesting because I gave you on the Tuff uke, I gave you parentheses, which means you play them if the lyrics require it. In measure 11, they require the first pass and the second pass, but not the third pass, and so don't play those that second time. The truth is, unless you're singing with the song and you really know the words, it's not going to matter. So if you play the threes the second time around, it's probably better. It fills up that space. But if you don't play the threes, then you're like, oh, I really have my lyrics memorized to this song. I'm trying to be faithful to the original. And as you guys know, I do not care about being faithful to the original composers. I want the song to kind of sound like what they wanted, but I also want to put my own spin on things. So if I came through there the third time and I hit those threes, I would not lose any sleep over it. Also, look at what I'm sort of suggesting you do. Long blonde hair, long, and then I'm suggesting you hit the zeros here. That means you're going to pull that 3 off to hit that, to get the arpeggio in underneath her at 12. And then, oh my gosh, right? Hate it. Bar chord. This B flat has come up so many times since the pandemic started, I don't even think that it's a problem for you guys anymore. Bar on 5, F shape in front. There's your B flat up high. And when she asks me, bum, bum, go to page 2, F chord. Do I love D minor. Yes, let it ring. Okay, and then you see what happens at the end of 18. I'd probably almost treat that as a fermata. I'd probably let it ride a little bit longer than a half note, and then I'm going to do, and you can see at measure 18, the beginning of the riff happens, right? Ba ba bum, and you're going to go right back up to measure 1. Okay, so we would play it back down all the way through measure, from measure 1 all the way down through the second verse. Okay, then we go on to measure 19. Okay. Now, let's talk about what's going to happen here. That, again, he always has a B section of some sort. Not always, but most of the time. In Rawk, they do A section, B section, A section, just like they did in Tin Pan Alley. Okay, they learned something. Let's look at, it looks like obviously a little bit of a melody here, so let's do that. Let's do it from the pickup to 18, or pickup to 19. 1, 2. Basically the same as the beginning, right? And now here he's, I feel wonderful, right? Okay, 3, bar chord. Lift up. Well, do you have to lift up? You don't have to lift up. 'cause I see the and the is that and page 3. Here you want to use this is 3-2-3 is going to come up a lot. Okay, you're hanging out in B flat, and this 3, that G note, is going to come up a lot. And I would recommend you put your pinky there and not try to refinger it real quick. Okay, because that's going to happen. Okay, so just put your pinky there, 3-2-3, and that allows you to hit that melody note 3, and then lift it back up to hit the 1. Okay, so at 29, it's going to be just don't realize. Then I'd probably refinger that part, right? So let's try that. Just that B flat. Just pick up your index finger. Don't add your pinky, and then back to your index finger on 1. Okay, and those of you who are cool, you see right away. You're like, oh, that's a pull off. Okay, I don't really work on pull-offs on ukulele, but you could do that. How much I love you. And then we see the repeat of the riff. Go back to measure 1, plump, go all the way back to measure 1. The third time through, again, same exact song 3 times through, which is lovely. Once you learn it once, you learn the whole song. You've learned the song that's 3 times as long. The third time through, when you get to measure 17, you see the coda there, the little bullseye thing. When you get to the end of 17, you're going to jump to 32. Okay, so if you're if you are on notebook, you probably want to have page 1 by itself and then 2 and 3 open, because that's going to make it easier. If you're on iPad, you just hit the button, right? But a lot of times, think about when you're punching your sheet music, how many repeats do I have? Where do they go? What's going to be the least amount of page flipping? And in this case, probably having 2 and 3 facing each other will make it easier, just because of this coda, rather than having 3 by itself. Let's do the end of the song and measure 32. And it comes out of you are wonderful tonight, and then a C chord. And you can hear that. That totally sounds like Clapton. And then a D minor. And then, oh my darling. This open C chord, you probably could put a full C chord on there. Oh my, B flat. And then wonderful. Then we're going to have the opening riff. And then let that ring for a minute. And then let that ring for a minute, right? So probably a little bitty fermato over that last note in measure 39. And again, don't play it fast. Don't wipe yourself out losing your mind, right? Play it nice and slow. Next Friday we'll play all 3 of these pretty slow, hopefully by then you'll be playing it just fine. This is pretty decent music to spend the week with, right? Let me peek really quickly. Let's peek really quickly at the baritone sheets, only to get you comfy with the ukulele chords. Okay, so baritone players, again, it's Clapton, right? So it's going to sound better on a baritone than it does on a ukulele, but that doesn't mean we don't play it on ukulele. Ukulele is awesome. Everything's the same on this. I'm 99.9% sure. The chords, of course, for ukulele players, if you look through here, you're like sweet, 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 right? C, A minor, F, and G. We've talked about those chords before. Your main idea here is in G, then F, then G, then C, then G, then F, then G, then C, then G, then F, then G, then F, then G. Okay, this is a world classic piece of music. This is something people love this song, right? C chord, A minor chord, F chord, G chord. That's what he used. That's what he used. And you're like, wait a minute, I'm not paying for that. Same thing with Over the Rainbow, right? You're like, but I thought this music was more complicated and sophisticated than that. So I think a lot of times when you study music, you kind of get disappointed a little bit, right? Because all of a sudden you have skills and you're like, what the heck's going on here? And you find out this song that people have revered for decades. It's C, A minor, F, and G. And you're like, wait, what? Wait a minute, right? And when I found out Bolero was about 16 measures, just repeated over and over, you're like, oh, that's such a bummer. I love that song. But that's what's kind of cool. If somebody can write something simple that really captures your imagination, and that's what you have here. I do think on ukulele these are all three of these are quite playable. I think probably wouldn't be a bad idea just to go revisit him on YouTube and just listen to the songs. These arrangements are pretty close to what he does there, and I think would serve you well. Make some really nice repertoire pieces for you. Let's see. A couple notes here. This was fantastic. Oh, you're welcome, Bo. Glad you're here. This one. Have a good weekend. Have a wonderful, safe weekend. Thanks, guys. You guys can tell he's done talking. All right. So that's it. That's what I know about Eric Clapton right at the moment. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Sorry about this week. It's just been a nightmare. I am going to do a harmonica class, hell or high water, at 11 o'clock today. So come do that with me. And then that's it for the week. Monday night orchestra, and then Tuesday, Thursday, boy, God willing, the creek don't rise. We're going to do the stuff we were supposed to do this week, and then we will play all through 6 of these songs. Wonderful Tonight twice, Layla twice, and whatever twice. And so spend the week with these. Those of you guys that are members and are higher level players and are really getting this, where this is a thing for you, let's get you super comfortable with creating the songs from the sheet music, because this summer we're going to spend a lot of time with you writing and doing your own arrangements, because there's songs you like that I've never heard of, or songs you like that I think are dumb and that I'm never going to do. And so I want you to be able to have the skill set to be able to put that stuff together, and that's what we're going to do this summer. We did it last summer and it works out pretty nicely, where you just spend the summer doing lead sheets, doing arranging, doing composing, doing technical work and that sort of stuff to get you to be at just that, whatever level you're at, pushing you up to the next level. And I have a lot of students who are like, I'm never going to write a song, and I'm like, don't count yourself out quite yet, right? I have a lot of students who write songs that would never occur to me they want to write songs, and they eventually, it just becomes one of those things, other things you want to try in music. So yeah, so there we go. Hope you're having a great day. Sorry for all of the craziness this weekend. Sorry for the coming to you live from my bedroom. You should see the rest of the house, and everything is just pure chaos in here. We want to thank Henry especially for not making a cameo appearance, which I can't believe, but apparently he had breakfast and that was enough for him. So I'm out of here. You guys have a great weekend. Hopefully it's warmer for you than it is here. And let's see, Robin says I might have to miss harmonica, but so yeah, watch the video later. That's what we do, right? We save the videos, go watch them later. So guys, have a great weekend. Peace. Oh, Darwin still needs strings. All right, I'll get you some.